28 passengers and 2 crew members on board a missing passenger plane have been confirmed dead. Their bodies are due to be transported to Naivasha. The Fly-SAX aircraft disappeared on Tuesday evening. Its wreckage was found early on Thursday morning. Investigations into the cause of the crash are underway. In a statement, Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta has expressed sadness at the incident, pledging a full review and probe into the tragedy. Let's get you more on this. Mwenda Mbijiwe is a security expert and former Kenya Air Force officer. He joins me in studio now. Thank you for your time today. So the plane wreckage has been found. It's been confirmed there are no survivors. So what are the next steps for investigators?
First of all, my deepest condolences to the families that have lost their loved ones. Certainly the investigators will be wanting to know what were maybe the last moments before the crash. The investigators are always, in any plane crash, very interested with the black box. They'll be wanting to know if there were any distress calls, or what, if there were any noises at all, or any indication of whether the aircraft had any mechanical problems, or could it have been a lightning strike, because this is a rainy season, and as you know, that region has a lot of rain at this time. So the investigators will be very interested to know, especially from the black box, if the black box has been found. As is the tradition in any air crash, they'll be looking for the black box first of all.
All right, so let's talk about that black box, because we hear about it a lot whenever a plane goes missing. And in this case, we know the search parties tracked a signal from a mobile phone. So just define it for us. What is a black box? And in this case, did it play a role?
Black box is like, I would call it the hidden memory of a plane. It's usually marked in. It's not marked black. Even the name, even though the name is black, it's always in orange. In cases where the plane has sunk in the water, it even has a signal that indicates where it is, especially in the water. It's activated by water, hydrogen in the water. But if it's on land, then it's just there. And as it appears, this crash is not very dramatic. This was a single crash on a specific spot. So most certainly the black box will be within a radius of the crash itself. However, it's very sad when you look at the time it took to respond. Yes, we heard of that telephone signal since the first 24 hours. And we were hoping someone could respond. One of the questions we are all asking ourselves is, in this country, if you get an air crash, will it take as long as it has taken to find some help? What if there was somebody who was breathing their last, who just needed about an hour or two to survive? It took so long for our rescuers to get there. And these are tough questions, and I challenge our president, now that it's time he's cracking the whip on on corruption. Maybe it's time he cracks the whip on the disaster management agency in this country, which is completely moribund and redundant.
And the aviation record for Kenya really in the region has been pretty solid. But we've got the introduction of these new budget carriers. Is this a concern, especially after this incident?
Certainly, even as the country expands, the economy grows, the county economies get established, counties begin to open airports. It's going to call on us now to go a step further and invest more massively in air safety. In countries like United States, UK, and elsewhere where there's a lot of air traffic, then it's time we realize, hey, a lot of Kenyans will be flying. There'll be a lot of flights to northern, to eastern, to central parts of Kenya. And it's time we invest massively in air safety. You look at countries like the US, except for minor aircraft accidents, there are no major issues like this particular accident. Beats all history of aircraft accidents, because this aircraft rammed into a mountain. It was flying at 11,000 feet when the mountain was at 12,500, about 13,000 feet. So it was 2,000 feet below where it should have been, and it rammed into the mountain. The question is, did it even have radar systems? Did it have equipment, navigation equipment that would warn the pilot? Certainly it didn't have. If it had, then it would have warned the pilot of is approaching an eye object, What if this plane was meeting another plane in the air that also didn't have the same equipment? Then we would have fatal air crashes. So this throws a challenge to the aviation industry. Even as we grow, it's time we invest a little more in the air safety of our planes and our passengers.
All right, Mwenda Mjiwe, we appreciate those insights. Thank you very much for your time.